think I was just taking notes here because I think we're moving in a different direction here. But I think it connects to everything that we have been talking about here. Because I'm thinking about the teacher. I'm thinking about what do teachers need to know to teach conversation strategies. And what do I mean by that? Is what do they look like in the classroom, Chris? Because one of the things I really liked about the book and I really liked about your approach to writing and to talking about conversation strategies is that you're not coming from a prescriptivist. You're not telling people, as you said, this is the way to do it. You're just showing them a way to do it. So conversation strategies in the classroom, do you find that is it good to follow perhaps even what Dave Willis talks about in Rules, Patterns, and Words, starting with awareness? Maybe we can just build awareness first, and then we can build a system. Let's systematize, let's categorize all of these. This is for listenership, this is for managing a conversation or managing a turn, and then moving on into opportunities to explore, to test out their hypotheses. So this is the first part of my question. But the second part is an interesting one because you mentioned in the book the problem of using models. And a lot of the published materials that we have, and you've mentioned this in the book, the majority of the conversation models found in these published materials, they lack authenticity and some of those natural strategies that are often found in real conversations. So how can this probably be mitigated, and while at the same time creating this strategy to teach conversation strategies in the classroom?
Okay. Maybe if I answer the second bit first, and the
Okay.
first bit second. Yeah, regarding the kind of models of conversations, I think there's several options. One option is to take data from a corpus, but I think it then needs to be modified in some way and packaged in a way which is more understandable and accessible for learners, because conversation is quite messy. If you look at most corpus data, it's hard to look at it from the outside and get that much from it, particularly from a learner's point of view. And I think that has some merits to it, and I think that can be very beneficial. It takes a bit more, takes time to do that, and then most corpora won't come with any kind of recording. So you probably the teacher would need to probably make a recording. Again, that's a bit more work. So that's one option. And McCarthy and McCartan in their book, Touchstone series, they use conversations based on corpus data and modified them. But they've had the time to go away and do that. So but anyway, that's one option. Another option is to use dialogues from other media. So, for example, there are a lot of conversations from novels or from plays or from bits of films, which they're not the same as a unscripted conversation, but they have some of the features, but they may be more interesting in motivational terms. So they can be used as a model. The third thing is something that goes right back to something that Jane and Dave Willis did, which is to get people at a better level than your students are to record a conversation, a model of the conversation that students want to have. So they did it with tasks, and it could be done like that. So, for example, students are doing a task. After they've done the task, they listen to a recording which is of speakers at a higher level than they are doing the same task, and then you look at the language in that, and it could be the strategies, etc., in that are used. So that's a third way. And when I say a high level speaker, it doesn't have to be a native speaker. Could be B1 student, could be a C1 student, or whatever. So I think those are options. I think the third option is definitely, second and third option are probably simpler for teachers to do on an everyday basis. Especially now, it's very easy, quick to make a quick recording, no problem to do it. So those are options in terms of making different models. The first question was, I think, about methodology, right?
Yeah.
I think that there are lots of different ways that people could approach this. I think the kind of Dave Willis idea that you said, which is about awareness first. I think, yeah, the first thing is definitely, in however that's kind of modeled, that students, of course, need to see this language being used in context, in a realistic a realistic context. I won't use the word authentic because it's kind of so loaded, but anyway, realistic context, and they need to see that, need to understand it, etc., and then they need to look at the language and become aware of its form and its function. Definitely. However that's done, I think that's important. And then you talk about, yeah, system building. That's, you know, categorization of things, isn't it? And you know, that to me is also part of awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's sensible. However that's done. And then exploration can come via various forms of practice in the classroom. Again, however that is realized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think the main thing is that when we taught the language, we just said we the lessons that were used in the various studies and the materials and things, they were realized in slightly different ways. The conversation strategies were, you know, similar, but we said we just abided by certain principles, you know, communicative principles. Language will be looked at in context. Students will look at form and function. Students were given different types of practice,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you know, given feedback, etc.
It sounds
So,
like it's yeah, sorry. It sounds like the teacher's own language awareness and knowledge about the language is quite important in all this, Chris.
yeah, I mean, I think always teacher language awareness is really vital. I think that probably on a lot of courses, there isn't, because of time, there isn't enough time given to that and the importance of that. And maybe it's left for teachers to take care of it themselves. And I can kind of understand that, but at the same time, I think it is very, very important. I think anybody can learn methods and activities and how to set up classes, but language awareness does take longer. Yeah, and it, obviously very, very important.